begin a new week with nationwide efforts underway to bring more relief and assistance to hurricane victims. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks for waking up with us. Now joining us live in studio with our weather outlook this morning is weatherman Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. Our ZNS Tower Camp this morning is overlooking eastern New Providence and is picking up some sheet clouds, some stratiform type clouds there. But as we go to our satellite picture, we still have that Hurricane Humberto well off the coast of Florida, moving towards the northeast at about 5 miles per hour. The maximum sustained winds around 85 miles per hour, making it a Cat 1 hurricane. But no threat does save from this little trailing troughing, which will produce some showers and thunderstorms over Abaco, the Berry Islands, Grand Bahama. Some of that will reach the capital, perhaps even North Eleuthera as well will be in the mix. And the forecast track for that system continuing to move northeast and over the open waters up the Atlantic, and continue to strengthen as it moves northeast as well. But outside of our studios, we have some thunderstorms in the vicinity. Temperature around 81 degrees, relative humidity 88%, southwest winds at 8 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,014.3 millibars. That's 29.95 inches, and the pressure is steady. Your temperatures around the islands this morning: 79 in Marsh Harbor, Green Tulkey at 79. Also in Freeport, the Berry Islands, very warm at 83 in Allenstown, Bimini, 82 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera 81, Otterstown, Cat Island 81, 80 degrees in Stanton Key, Camp Space on Andrews at 80, Fresh Creek in Central Andrews 81 in San Salvador and Rum Key. In Ragged Island, 82, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklins, Matutani, Niagara, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, all at 82 degrees. Your boating forecast for today: in the northwest Bahamas, the winds will be southwest to west, 15 to 20 knots, choppy seas around 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. High tide 8:53 this morning. Low tide will take place at 3:07 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern Bahamas, southeast to south winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your first look at weather in the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Now, if you're on the streets at this hour, your morning commute could be getting a little hectic pretty soon. Lloyd Allen and the Morning Edition team is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, good morning, LaDawn. Good morning, Bahamas. It's a beautiful morning for a run. This morning we're here at the Village Road and Soldier Road intersection, where it tends to get a lot busy around 7:30. A lot of schools intersect in this area. We have Queens College, Kingsway Academy, and a Catherine. Also this morning we have Sergeant Thompson, who's giving drivers some advice really about trying to get their kids to those destinations this morning. What can you tell drivers about really being aware of due care and attention?
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas. We like for persons that are dropping their students and their kids to school, we like for you to pull off the street, pull into the schoolyard. We have some eager drivers that will overtake you, and you don't want you to be stopping in the street, and that person comes around to overtake you and knocks your child down. So take precaution, pull into the schoolyard. It may take some time, but it'll be the safe choice and the best choice.
Well, of course, I know using signals is also an important indicator, obviously, for drivers, telling them whether you're going left or right. How important do you think that is, especially in rush hour?
That is very important. It helps the driver in front of you and behind you to know what you are going to do. Using the signal is like a lost art, and I encourage my cyclists to enforce that law. Because persons don't use signal anymore, they drive like they're in a video game. If you notice on the highways and the dual carriageways, they just switch from lane to lane with no regard for other road users.
All right, thank you so much. Well, of course, no grand theft auto this morning. Use your signals as you're moving through the streets. Reporting from the intersection, Village Road and Soldier Road, Lloyd Allen. LaDawn, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Now onto our top story this morning. Building restrictions imposed in Abaco. The Ministry of Environment and Housing has issued a prohibition to build order for the Mud, Pigeon Pea, Sandbank, and Farm Road communities in Abaco. The restrictions are taking immediate effect. Persons are being advised not to erect any new buildings or development for residential use or commercial activity. Officials say this order will allow for recovery efforts and the removal of storm debris. Now that order will be in effect for 6 months and could be extended if necessary. A United Nations official taking an aerial view of the ravaged community of Abaco this weekend, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, was also given a ground tour of that community. He assured the officials of his commitment and the need for the support of the global community.
So my duty to come to raise awareness. Obviously, this represents for the Bahamas a big shock. There is in the international community the idea that middle-income countries should not be supported. It's a wrong idea, especially that middle-income countries have high levels of vulnerability to external shocks they are not responsible for. And so I hope that the international community will be able, now obviously is the moment of still rescue in some situations, but essentially humanitarian aid, but then there will be reconstruction, building resilience, recovery, and this will require massive investments from the government, from the people, and of course international support will be absolutely essential. And one of the reasons of my visit is to raise awareness and to say that I believe that international solidarity needs to be expressed not only in this emergency phase but in the medium and long term.
Meantime, the UN Secretary General said he will sound the alarm, noting that solidarity is absolutely essential.
Deeply feel enormous gratitude for what you are doing, and you can be sure that this generosity that you are showing, this effort that you are making, is worth. Because I mean, the people, and I've seen yesterday people displaced in very dramatic circumstances, so the people really need and deserve this support. So what you are doing is very important and has an enormous value for the Bahamas and for the people living in this country. So thank you so very much. Total solidarity and deep admiration for the work you are doing.
Teams from a number of regional and U.S. agencies are on the ground in Abaco. They are involved in extensive works helping the island to rebuild. Lloyd Allen speaks with agency representatives.
So it's Saturday morning here at the Marsh Harbor Seaport, and we're here greeted by personnel from the Dutch Navy and military forces. Captain Boy Janssen, he's going to give us some details just about what the efforts have been like in the past 3 days. Good morning. Tell us about your efforts over the past 3 days.
Yes, indeed. We came here 3 days ago. It was a bit of chaos. It pressed most of our guys, although we also been working on the Hurricane Irma at Sint Maarten. It was pretty impressive what we've seen around here. We first tend to see where were the first needs on the island, and we work closely together with the IOC, the Emergency Operations Center. They gave us priorities to see where is the first need and the criticals of for example, the infrastructure. That's the first thing we worked on the last 3 days.
So you talk about the infrastructure. I know you've visited, you've already cleared some debris already from the Marsh Harbor, a government complex, from the Marsh Harbor Community Clinic. Now you're at the port. What's next for your operation?
Yeah, indeed, we worked on the most important things, so the port, the clinics, and now today we also started with the schools. The primary schools. It's been a mess, so that we can take care that the children can go to school again, and that the parents have their hands free also to do their own stuff, because there's a lot of things to do also for the families themselves. So that's, for example, one of the things we are working on now. So all the public areas, that the normal life, for as much as it can get the normal rhythm again. We have a French from the French army and the German army. We work together with them. It goes very well, and they do also a very good job. Very eager to help the local population here.
Well, we definitely appreciate your help, and I hope those efforts definitely continue well within the next few weeks. Reporting here from the Marsh Harbor Seaport, Lloyd Island, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, relatives are still searching for at least 1,000 persons missing from Hurricane Dorian. Also, shelters across New Providence remain crowded. Evacuees totaling more than 1,000 are still in shelters across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and in Abaco. In Grand Bahama, the water situation is returning to some state of normalcy, with more than half of the piped water supply restored. Only 10% of the piped water in the southern part of Abaco has yet to be restored, while the north has 40% restoration. Telecommunications is still coming on stream on the two islands. BTC is reporting 41% restoration on Grand Bahama and 18% over on Abaco. Alive is 80% restored on Grand Bahama and 100% on Abaco. Bahamas Power and Light Limited working to restore power to the mainland of Abaco. Teams are beginning in the south. The company says Moores Island has been fully restored since Friday. BPL is reporting little damage on Grand Key. And stay close. When we come back, we head on over to Grand Bahama for the distribution of supplies. All of that and more straight ahead.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills with their debt consolidation loan. Give you one monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow! Finally! A bank that's looking out for me! What do you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
Miss Fidelity, you ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Explore the world of agriculture with us. Join me, your host, Carla Palmer, for continued adventures in agriculture and the marine environment as we head into Season 2 of the program, Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now, moving to a new date and time, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
Welcome back. A mass distribution of supplies taking place on the island of Grand Bahama over the weekend, and officials there are asking for more volunteers to assist. Jamila Mizik reports.
The National Emergency Management Agency in Grand Bahama staging Operation Relief Saturday this past weekend, a door-to-door initiative where NEMA distributed relief supplies throughout various communities. Senator Catherine Forbes-Smith explains.
And we have ascertained, obviously, the information on those communities that was hardest hit during this hurricane. And so that is what we're doing today. It's very important for us to make sure that we walk door to door, street by street, and we give supplies to people. And this is a massive operation here today. We have well over 100 volunteers who are here helping. You know, despite what people are saying that there's no distribution going on in Grand Bahama, that is far from the truth. Because if we have to walk it and truck it, that's what's happening here today.
She says one of the challenges they're facing is finding additional warehousing.
Some people are saying they can't find their items, but what we are seeking to do today is we have to find additional warehousing on the island, and that's going to help us separate the goods that come in the goods that come in are all coming at just 1 or 2 locations. I think once we could get some more warehousing organized, then we can direct certain shipments to those warehouses, so there's a little bit more organization going on.
Priya Thurmer is the Vice President of K1 Direct Regional Response Team, an organization based in St. Martin. She says their 16-member team has been assisting NEMA with logistics at the warehouse and the distribution process.
I've noticed in almost any disaster you go to, distribution is the most challenging and logistically complicated process. One thing that really impressed me here is to see that ESF7 and NEMA is very proactive. Everything that's coming every day has gone out to the community. And of course, every day we've been trying to find more efficient ways to do it. But everything that's coming is getting distributed, and we're doing it very quickly, thanks to having a lot of manpower as well, and the proactive organization of, like I said, ESF and NEMA, which it's really commendable.
Minister of State for Grants Bahama, Senator Kwesi Thompson, is thanking all of their international partners for their continued assistance.
Because they are here, they are working from the crack of dawn, they are working late at night, they are packaging, they are on the trucks, they are also giving those items out. So we really want to thank all of the international partners who are here for all of the assistance that they've given to the government.
Now, NEMA is asking for more volunteers and trucks to assist in the distribution efforts. Interested persons are encouraged to register at the 3rd floor of the C.A. Smith building. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jamila. Meanwhile, when the aid of international healthcare is quite active on the grounds in the affected islands, there's limited capacity at the Rand Memorial Hospital on Grand Bahama and one field clinic operational at this time. Abaco has one hospital with 3 of 10 clinics with limited capacity. As Jimenita Swain tells us, the global response is enormous.
A call for medical assistance was sent out in the wake of Hurricane Dorian, which has left the Bahamas with quite possibly the largest humanitarian crisis in the country. Officials from the Pan American Health Organization and World Health Organization's representative, Dr. Esther de Gorval, telling ZNS News one response was to provide an alternative to the Rand Memorial Hospital.
So we have, working with partners, got the Samaritan's Purse to set up a mobile hospital on site at Rand Memorial to provide for movement of the patients who are there in the facility currently to a temporary location, which allows time and access for the cleaning of Rand Memorial Hospital, repair of equipment, and so on.
Samaritan's Purse can provide medical care for up to 100 outpatient cases per day with 40 beds. It is ready to respond at a moment's notice in any emergency. Dr. de Gorval says the facilities in Abaco were also assessed.
Medical services are once more being offered at Marsh Harbor Clinic. We have also medical facilities operational at Foxtown Clinic, Cooperstown Clinic, and Sandy Point. And these yellow circles with the question marks indicate those clinics which are still to be evaluated and made operational again. One of our major priorities is to ensure access to health care for persons who remain on the island.
A number of international medical teams are on the ground assisting in varying capacities, but the PAHO WHO representative says surveillance remains a high priority.
One must remember that even in normal times, there are cases of diarrhea and fever and other conditions reported. So what we look for in an emergency situation like this is any indication of an increase in numbers beyond the normal trends, and that has not been seen. There have been rumors, but the reporting system that has been put in place does not suggest that there's any increased numbers of infectious diseases.
At last report, the death toll stood at 50. As for concerns of underreporting of the dead or quarantine on affected islands,
there is concerted effort to do a grid system across both islands to systematically search for any deceased persons, and we anticipate that the numbers would increase, but the numbers that have been reported so far have been based on the retrieval. There is no need for quarantine because we've not seen any increase in any infectious conditions that would warrant quarantine.
Stay close, we've got more on Hurricane Dorian search and recovery right after this.
This is a PSA from We Buy, You Sell. The protection of your businesses, homes, and families is very important. We Buy, You Sell offers the best in hurricane impact windows and doors designed to withstand all categories of hurricanes, with prices beating our competitors by up to 50%. We also specialize in porcelain, mosaic, and plank tiles. We Buy, You Sell, located at number 163 Robinson Road. Call 677-2856 or 324-6427. We Buy, You Sell. Come and see us today.
Hey Bahamas, what's up? Are you proud of the decisions that our young people are making in our country today? Well, I want to introduce you to an organization where young people are making positive contributions. Youth Against Violence. I am a proud product of Youth Against Violence. Over the past years, Youth Against Violence has played a pivotal role in my success thus far. I want to throw a challenge out to you to help us and to support us to be able to help and support other young people like myself who are making positive contributions to our country. Help us to continue to bring peace to our streets by influencing this generation to influence future generations in a positive way. I am a proud product of Youth Against Violence. I am Travis Robinson, and I endorse this message.
It's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Buddy Hield and the Kings have their...
Buddy Hield seemed to be having the best season of his career. He had 32 points the other night. It was a bit disappointing, Shawnee Miller not winning the IAAF World Female Athlete of the Year. The high school rankings will soon be out. Tabernacle, the defending champion, CC Sweeting, they are always there. Who will it be this year? Each Monday on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, it's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
More spiritual support provided on Sunday for storm victims. Members of the Jehovah's Witness community held a special service at the Assembly Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses for those impacted by Hurricane Dorian. Coordinator of the Marsh Harbor Congregation, Richie Emma, spoke about his experience during the storm, and Public Information Representative Max Dean advises members to find refuge from fellow witnesses here in the capital.
We went over to a friend's house. He's one of the brothers in our local congregation as well. In fact, 21 of us got to his house and we found refuge there. We comforted one another and we encouraged one another, and it helped us to not to be overly saddened by what had happened.
We take them into our homes and they live with us for whatever the duration of time is required. And if a particular witness family can only do it for a particular time, that's good. And then they go to another witness family. But they do that until there is no more need. And so congregations actually sponsor this whole arrangement. And so we pay for and help to care for them.
Brothers from the Waukegan, New York Jehovah's Witness headquarters, also in the Bahamas, to assist fellow members with hurricane relief efforts. Both representatives of Jehovah's Witness headquarters, Mark Lafani, and Disaster Relief Committee Chairman Makai Gunanalis say they are here to help.
Providing temporary housing, either by quick repairs to the homes that were damaged, or possibly replacement housing. But even before that, providing humanitarian services, making sure there is food, water, clean clothing, and even medical services if necessary.
NEMA and other authorities, governmental authorities, have been truly supportive to our relief efforts, and we're working in conjunction with these governmental agencies here in the Bahamas to assist us to provide these relief efforts to our brothers and sisters. The end goal, we will stay here as long as it takes to assist our brothers and sisters in need.
The impact of Hurricane Dorian has spilled over into areas of the #1 industry. Local taxi drivers shifted their focus today, trying to drum up some business after what they call a drop in the market pre and post Hurricane Dorian. Today, downtown Nassau was filled with tourists looking to be chauffeured around the island while they captured the sights and sounds. Take a look.
This is the first day that we're having a buzzing activity for about almost 2 weeks. So I don't know how the day gonna go. I'm just speaking in reference of what happened in the days past. They had some cancellations on the ships, and the ships are actually coming half full. I think we lose about 17 cruise ships in that space that the hurricane was traveling in that week, because the port was closed for a little over a week. After that, the ships that is coming is actually coming half full, and we're seeing a decrease in business.
While some taxi drivers have seen an increase in business since the passing of Hurricane Dorian, there are others who are still feeling the pinch.
I've seen an increase in business. I've seen a lot more people coming to the island now. And today we have 4 ships, and we actually are getting a lot more people. Right now it's supposed to be the slow period, but it's not really that slow.
We haven't seen an increase. We got a few people here, but nobody's doing anything. So right now the taxi drivers right now are actually fighting among themselves trying to get a job right now, because most of the people, like I say, they walk and they're not even taking taxi like that.
Meanwhile, local business operators on Junkanoo Beach also feeling the pinch of the impact of Hurricane Dorian. Our Kelsey Johnson shares his story.
Settled on the eastern side of Junkanoo Beach, just a couple of feet away from West Bay Street and a hop, skip and jump away from the beautiful beach, is Seagull's Beach Bar. Owner of the establishment, Keith Mackey, and his team spends the day mixing drinks and greeting the guests. It's been business as usual for Mackey since the passing of Hurricane Dorian. He hopes things will pick up as the cruise ships continue to dock in the harbor in the weeks ahead.
Cruise ships that normally come in are the ones that are scheduled to come in. We haven't seen any additional cruise ships as yet, but hopefully we do. But at the present time, it's basically the same schedule we've been running with for the last month. What they do is they give us a monthly schedule, and it tells us which cruise ships are coming in, which days, what time, and how many passengers. So it's basically the same as the regular schedule.
Like many Bahamians, Mackey and his family's lives were interrupted to some degree by Hurricane Dorian, the Category 5 storm that ravaged the Abacos and Grand Bahama.
I've had a niece in Freeport that lost her house, which was recently built, actually a new house, and my nephew in Abaco, he lost his house. So it's been traumatic, and we all trying to rally around and give them some support and as much assistance as we could. We're all devastated by the tragedy that happened. It's affected all of us in one way or the other, and it's good to see everybody trying to pull together to help each other out. But we're hoping for the best.
Mackey is preparing for what he calls the busy season, but says he is keeping a close eye on the tropics. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Kelsey. Hurricane Dorian's search and recovery continues right after this quick break.
Not the cold one.
Busted! Busted! Don't you know you guys are breaking the law by not using your seat belts?
Man, Charlie, man, I'm using my seat belt.
Wrong!
The seat belt is not for opening your alcoholic drink. It is for saving lives. And by the way, for those of you who continue to drink and drive, we're on the lookout for you too.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us.
That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Welcome back. Registration of students evacuated to the capital will continue this week at the National Stadium. Officials are attempting to clear the air over any misunderstandings. Lloyd Allen was there.
So good morning again, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. As we know, last week was by some described as a nightmare trying to process their children here at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Those students coming in from the ravaged regions of Abaco and Freeport or Grand Bahama. This morning we have the senior coordinator from the Ministry of Education, that's Zane Lightbourne, who's giving us some more details and telling us really about how the ministry has worked on really working out these kinks. Good morning, Mr. Lightbourne. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So we know last week there were some challenges. What are some of those changes that you've now made?
Well, we've beefed up the manpower. We've definitely beefed up security in terms of people moving through the process. So we have seating areas that we have persons who are waiting. We have computers that's been added in numbers and input data persons who can take electronically all of the information. One of the things that really helped us during this process is the fact that we have had a list generated from Abaco for every student that was enrolled in the school in Abaco. And so that's helped us in at least remedying any counterfeiting or potential counterfeiting of persons. And so we're pretty happy to have the response from the police force, from the education officials who are here, many different departments with their hands at the wheel. We can't really generate for health screening a time that it will take for every person, because that varies and the time fluctuates. But in the meantime, whilst persons are waiting for that, we have other agencies that can get to them and get their data and input the data.
So I know one of those things initially that your director, that's Marcellus Taylor, did indicate was that roughly about 5,000 students were expected in from those regions. How many have you seen up to this point?
Well, we've seen 500 of those that walked through the door. We got all their information. Going through completely the process is over 250 of them, so more than half. And we have persons who are coming in now by appointment, because what we want to do is get it right the first time. We're dealing with children. We can't make mistakes that are obvious. We have to make sure that we get it right and that we give these children a fair chance in education, and also that we have the teachers and manpower, which is really a big issue for us, that we get that right, because the student have to have a teacher in the front of them, giving them the attention they need, the education, imparting education on them. And so we're looking forward to this process going along, continually to go smoothly. It's evolving constantly. The agencies, all that are involved, sometimes you need more time depending on actually how many persons are in the household, and depending on what some of the issues are, because each individual, even though all of these individuals have been impacted, each individual's needs are sometimes unique. And so we have social assistance here for them. We have psychological services and special services for them, and also some after-school programs. So we're looking forward to getting this done, at least by the end of early October. But we want parents to, as much as possible, to adhere at our schedules so that we can be more efficient in what we do.
So I know one of those initial things you had said, the ministry had said, was that its cutoff date was October 11th. That may change, obviously, but even moving forward, you briefly just now talked about teachers, the idea of teachers and students with special needs. Outside of those who've maybe been traumatized by the storm, we also know that several disabled students are also coming in from those regions as well. So what initiatives has the ministry put in place to really provide best for those needs?
Well, we have a special services division here, and they have the expertise. They definitely have the manpower here, the numbers. They have a space, private and a bit more, I guess, secluded, away from the general population, so that you can service their needs. They also have, we have provided computer electronic data that they can input on their students, so we can always access information on them. So our agencies that are here considered all aspects, and if we can't service any aspect at any particular time, then we make the adjustment. So we're happy to have special services for the special needs students. They are being looked at and they are being taken care of in this process also. We didn't leave them out.
Excellent. Now, I'm a former teacher, and as you talk about those special needs, I know that's very helpful for those teachers. In the line, though, of those teachers coming in from those regions, I know last week the ministry spoke about really trying to facilitate placement for those teachers. Do you know if that's worked out as yet?
Well, that is a process also, because we have teachers requesting to go to other islands. Some teachers are uncomfortable being in the city and working in the city because there's a whole different cultural aspect, getting on the road at a certain time. Some persons are just comfortable in smaller environments and they want to go, they don't mind going to remote islands, and we have had needs there too. So this has really worked in the favor of the Ministry of Education of getting teachers that were much needed in the family islands to consider other islands. In the meantime, whilst we seek to rebuild the schools and also the places of abode in Grand Bahama and Abaco.
Now, of course, we're just about 2 weeks off from the passing of Dorian, and while the world looks at this as a very challenging time for the Bahamas, I actually look at this as an opportunity, especially for the Ministry of Education. I spoke to a student last week who talked about really getting a jump start in grade 7. This is her first time starting the 7th grade. She's talking about, being excited, joining various clubs. Does the ministry look at this as an opportunity as well to really diversify and grow?
Certainly, and not just the Ministry of Education. We have a lot of other private entities here that have after-school programs, sports programs for students to be a part of. We have always had the police force and defense force, Rangers, and all these other organizations that had after-school activities that students now can be a part of in the family islands in droves where they would have otherwise probably not paid as much attention to. So we are seeking to satisfy every need and aspect of the student. Before putting this together, we considered all of those, and we are trying to make sure that happens. That happens at a one-stop shop right here at the National Stadium.
Another question I have, finally, is I know that you provided some snacks as well. That's definitely a go this go round and this week as well.
Yes, certainly. Drinks and snacks are available for children, and we also have support for that privately and from the ministry. We always have water for them. Even if we run out of water, if it's too much of a population, we give them whatever is there for the staff whilst we wait for more water to come in. So these things are all part of the process, because we can't have people sitting around for 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes a whole day, depending on their situation, that we don't give water, some attention, snacks, and whatever we can provide for them.
All right, excellent information. And, of course, reporting from the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Great live interview there, Lloyd. Thanks a lot. The University of the West Indies usually enrolls Bahamian students interested in the medical field. Known for its high-level curriculum, UWI continues to promote Bahamian registration, as the Bahamas has played a key role in the school's inception. UWI Vice Chancellor Hilary Backles feels the Bahamas will continue to impact the institution's development.
The University of the West Indies is the ranked #1 university in the Caribbean, and there are over 200 of them. And we are ranked in the top 5% of the best universities in the world. So Bahamian students and the government investors are assured that with that reputation that UWA has created, it is a domestic asset for the people and the government of the Bahamas.
The nonprofit organization World Central Kitchen continues to provide thousands of meals daily to persons displaced by Hurricane Dorian in the hardest hit islands and those relocated right here in the capital. The organization, which is partnering with the Atlantis Resort, prepares the meals in one of its kitchens on site and transport the food to persons in need. It was founded in 2020 by celebrity chef Jose Andres following the earthquake in Haiti. Tim Kilcone is a director of chef operations. He explains the scale of those operations.
So right now we're preparing about 25,000 meals per day. Currently we're sending that to around to the shelters that are in Nassau. We're also using, we have 3 helicopters, we have 2 boats, we have a seaplane that are transporting some of that from here in Nassau over to Abaco, where we have a team station in Abaco. They've been there for about a week now, and transporting that way, going around, finding little communities, helping out the people in need there. And then we also have a ship that we're cooking off of that is stationed in the port in Grand Bahama.
World Central Kitchen has a team of about 20 persons here in the Bahamas, but Sil Kilcone says it's predominantly staffed by volunteers. The focus, he says, is being the link to provide meals following a disaster. He explains some of the meals they have been preparing locally and how long they're likely to be on the ground.
So here, lots of rice, the pigeon peas, which I haven't used before. They're delicious. And lots of chicken and beef dishes, some curries, things like that. We bring in, we have an amazing local chef here that's helping us out, that's helping with those local flavors. Because we want to provide the comfort. Don't know currently after seeing Abaco and Grand Bahama with how much, how much was affected. We don't know how long we need to be here or how long they're going to be displaced. So, so that's important to us to make sure that we're here as long as we need to be to keep everybody, provided with food.
The Bahamas National Youth Choir also doing its part to assist persons affected by the storm. The choir has completed auditions in the last few days looking to fill vacant spots. But with some of its members impacted by Hurricane Dorian, choir director Dexter Fernandez says the organization is looking to spearhead a concert to assist.
We are first starting off with helping our own. We've had 3 of our members that were damaged in the hurricane. Both lost their homes totally. They're here in Nassau for the University of the Bahamas, but we are trying to help our own. Charity begins at home. So once we get together, the first thing is to help those in their need. And then we also have an alumnus, Heather Hunt, who lost everything also, and so we want to extend that time, and so we're going to look with the other musicians and coordinate so all events are not happening at the same time to see when will be a good time that we can have a concert. After that, we get ready for our Christmas concert, which is going to be held at Trinity.
The Sister Sisters organization held a bake and drive in Harbor Bay over the weekend in aid of victims of Hurricane Dorian. The dynamic group of young women sold sweet treats galore while holding a drive where persons could donate clothes, toiletries, and other necessities. Jessica Dean, leader of Sister Sisters organization, says they're keen on helping their brothers and sisters through this hard time.
It's so important because even though we may not be related to a lot of the people affected, they are still our brothers and sisters in Christ. And if one needs one, we all should help everybody else. We are all Bahamians. We are all family at the end of the day.
Miss Teen Bahamas Scholar 2019 Adria Aubrey says after seeing the devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian has caused, many had to take immediate action.
Well, I believe that talk is cheap. I feel as though as a people we should come together and stand strong for who we call family, regardless if we have a personal connection to them or not. It is very keen and important in knowing that we should stand together as one, regardless of whatever happens.
Sisters are giving back to our community. United we stand, in unity we demand.
Great initiative there. Stay close. Sports is up next with Charles Fisher.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone, now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
When a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it is extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor items like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings, opening only when absolutely necessary and closing quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so that small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Take pictures from inside where it is safe and dry. There is no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. As we continue to pray for our brothers and sisters from Grand Bahama and Abaco, Freedom Farm Baseball doing their part to assist youngsters from those affected islands.
We open arms to all of those victims who have kids coming to Nassau to live from Grand Bahama and from Abaco to come and be a part of us. They still have to recreate. Freedom Farm is a good place. We believe that they could come and take some of the stuff off their mind during the course of the next year. We went to the extent of providing whatever they need for them to participate in this program. So they won't have to worry about anything, no clothing, no cleats, no glove, no bats. We do our best to provide those things for them through some of our affiliate league. There is Metropolitan Baseball, which I sit as a board director. As we speak, they're collecting items for the hurricane relief program. They're shipping them down to Nema, I understand, as early as Monday. And in that package, I understand there will be some stuff for some young kids to be able to play baseball.
Great news. Olivia's guests on Sideboard celebrating another Government League Basketball Championship for the third year in a row, completing the back sweep of the Gladstone Road Liquor Panthers with a 76-66 win and taking the series 3-1. Ernest Sanders 18, Brian Bain, Cadero Pinder 13 apiece, and Eugene Bain with 10 points and 12 rebounds.
It was obvious they didn't want us to win this championship, but the reality is at the end of the day, we have the resolve, you see, so we did what we needed to do and we pulled it out. Hats off to the Panthers. They're a very good team. Those guys are very hungry and they want to win. But right now, we on the top of the mountain. It's 3 in a row. We on the top of the mountain, and that's what we want to do. We want to stay on the top of the mountain. We in Nassau playing a championship basketball game, and people in Abaco and Grand Bahama are suffering, and some folks have died. So, we just want to give thanks to the Almighty God for giving us the talent and the ability to come here and play basketball.
Despite the championship tonight, we still got to send prayers up for the families affected by the storm, Freeport and Abaco. But like I told y'all guys earlier this week, this is a fighting group, man. We know what it takes to win. We know we have to play hard every possession. Like I told those guys just now, keep their head up. That's a very, very good team that we played. But we just know we just had to fight, man. That's what it's all about. It was a very physical series from game 1 to now. It was very, very physical. So we had to focus on just once we get hit, go to the line and make free throws, so we would have been all right.
Bahamas Judo Federation, they are on the recruitment drive with most of their athletes moving on The search not only limited to here in New Providence.
It's going well. You know, we have a bunch of other programs. We are hopeful, you know, to go back into the schools again, as well as we're going to try and work with the government and people coming in from the Family Islands, especially from Abaco and Grand Bahama, so make sure that they're engaged in some productive, healthy activity. So we're gearing together all of the logistics of all of that.
And that's going to do it for Sports Monday. Don't forget to tune into the OT this morning at 9 o'clock on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, and also on the ZNet Television Network. We'll be talking Opti-Sailing. The big event is coming up here to the 242 shores.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas Tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence, we cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the Northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
In our final look at weather, we continue to look at Hurricane Humberto at about 5 o'clock this morning. It was located about 670 miles west of Bermuda, moving towards the northeast rather slowly, but 5 miles per hour, but that forward speed will pick up later on today. But trailing out of Humberto is a trough in which it will fire up showers and thunderstorms across Abaco, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands. Even here in the capital, we might get some of that. North Eleuthera could be in the mix as well, as that troughing slowly lifts towards the north during the course of today. And then there is another system before we get there in the central Atlantic. This one has about a 50% chance of developing over the next 3 days. Could become a depression as conditions are becoming more favorable for development of that system. We'll keep you posted on that over the next few days, but Humberto will intensify as it continues that trek towards the north and east, and as we said, that forward speed will increase. The forecast for today, however, calls for more sunshine than clouds, but there will be a couple of showers, even an isolated thunderstorm in the mix. The high temperature getting up to 88 degrees, and tonight we're looking at partly cloudy with a passing shower or two developing late into the night and during the early morning. 77 degrees for your low temperature, and the extended weather forecast. We're going to keep showers in the forecast into Tuesday. Things drying out a bit on Wednesday, and that will continue right into Friday. But come Saturday, we have some showers and thunderstorms working their way back in our forecast, which could be heavier time. So if you planning any outdoor activities on Saturday, you may want to make a rain check there.
Thanks a lot, Basil, and thank you that Humberto is no threat to us here in the Bahamas. And that does it for us this morning. See you right back here tomorrow morning at 6:30 for more coverage of Hurricane Dorian search and recovery. Once again, I'm LaDon Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.